Hello again, everybody. Okay, so we run part of Team Zest and we go from Wollongong, except for Ben, who's in Sydney, down to Burrell Lake. Today I'm joined by Vicki, Bennett and Vicki Jones. Bennett is in Nowra and Vicki Jones is in Wollongong. And we're going to do lots of Varoma cooking for you. So hopefully we'll be able to share lots of tips and tricks. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to do the prep ahead layered chicken, eggs and salmon, which is a great thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Make a salad or some rice and some bits and pieces, and you'll have your lunches for the rest of the week. So I've gone into my menu and I've pressed start cooking. And it's asked me to put in 100 grams of brown onion and a garlic clove. So this also makes a great stock. And we're going to put our measuring cup back in and we're going to go 3 seconds on speed 3. Next, we're going to add 800 grams of water. And 2 tablespoons of chicken stock paste, which I make chicken stock paste, which is in your basic cookbook. And it's just like your veggie stock paste that we make, except we use chicken, and I always keep mine in the freezer to keep it frozen and fresh all the time. It also asks for some like herbs like thyme, parsley, rosemary, which I'm just going to drop those into the bowl. And then we're going to put our simmering basket in. And we're going to add 500 grams of chicken boneless thighs cut into thirds. Now, I've actually cut mine a little bit more than thirds. I'm just going to pop those in there. And season with sea salt and pepper. And now we're going to put the Varoma on. So for all of us who have a Varoma, I'll just go through parts of it. So we always look at this as the Varoma tray, and that's great for putting down when you're taking your Varoma off, and it is a tray so that you don't get any like liquids or anything going on your bench. Then the next part is your Varoma dish. Now in the Varoma dish, I've got 8 eggs. Okay, can you see that? Yep. And then in the Varoma tray, I've got some salmon fillets that I have put on our stainless steel tray, so there's no holes. If you didn't have one of these, you could use baking paper, or you could use the Varoma sheets that you can get in the mix shop, which actually fit on the Varoma tray. Okay, so you can just pop those in and then pop your salmon fillets onto that. So then we're going to pop it all up here like so. And we're going to secure the Varoma lid. And that's going to cook for 15 minutes at Varoma temperature on speed 2. Okay, so that's that. And I will pass it over to Vicki, Bennett.
Oh, Kim, you're pretty safe just to say Vicki today, aren't you?
Yes.
All right, today I'm going to be cooking the meatballs with tomato sauce. It's a really good meal and it's really family friendly for kids as well. Some of us have kids that don't like particularly flavoured foods, and I find this is a really good dish. And I'll start cooking. First step is put a mixing bowl on the lid, and I have to add some bread. Now this is chopped. It can be stale bread, any bread that you've got. Just throw it on and weigh it. And I'm a little bit over. Doesn't matter if you're a little bit over. You don't have to be exactly precise with the Thermomix, like with most recipes. Just It's a dry. Now it says 80 grams of milk. The milk is just to soak the bread. Because I put a little bit more bread, I'll put a little bit more milk on it. Now I just set that aside to soak, and I'll just make sure that it's all there and it will soak in. Pop that aside. Now start cooking. It says 6 to 12 sprigs of fresh leaf flat parsley, which I have got ready. And I'll just pop that in. No stems, just the leaves. You could use any herbs you like. 1 garlic clove, and because I like garlic, I'm putting in 2. Now let's put that on the top. And I'll turn it to speed 7 for 5 seconds. Almost done. Now scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. Can have a look in there. I don't know if you can see, the light's not very good in my kitchen. But when you scrape down, just have it flat like that, and I just push down like that. Works perfectly. Smells wonderful as well. Next, I've got 400 grams of mince broken into pieces. You can make your own mince if you like. I just bought mine today. And make sure you tear your scales. I didn't check that. Make sure it's not on the lines. Make sure it's on 0 before you start adding in, or it won't measure accurately. Also, remember, if you've got any questions, just pop them in the chat. Ben will answer them for you today. 2 medium eggs. Don't bang it on the side of your Thermomix. I've got my little bowl here. Never tap the side of your Thermomix, it will upset the scales. Sea salt, it says half a teaspoon, but I like to guess. And some pepper. Now, this is the fun bit. I get to squeeze out the milk out of this, and I get to put the bread back into there. So now I'll add in the bread. A little bit messy, but it's not too bad. Let's put that in the sink. Now I'll put that on there, measuring cup. And for 10 seconds at speed 5, it'll mix it all for me. I'll just show you before I start mixing so you can see how well it mixes. Lindsay, you have a question? Your hand's up. She's on mute. Can anyone help Lindsay? Kim? Lindsay's got a hand up. I don't know if it's accidental, but it is. It's accidental? All right. That's all good. Next.
Get rid of it.
It'll go, don't worry.
Okay. It's just that I've got the caption at the bottom and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Oh, well, we won't worry if we know you haven't got your hand up. It's okay. It says to transfer to a bowl and set aside. Which we'll do into here. You can see it's mixed perfectly for you. Normally that would take a long time to mix nicely. One thing I love about the Thermomix, I can cook nice healthy meals from scratch in a half, sometimes a quarter of the amount of time. Okay. So next it says to grease my Varoma tray and dish. So I will get my little brush and some olive oil, which I have ready. You could use the Varoma tray inserts or some baking paper, but this just, it's all I do. Give it a little brush on both of them. And the meatballs just don't stick at all. It's pretty good. With oiled hands. Okay, now I'm going to shape the meatballs and cook them. Someone has a question? Oh, someone, no. All right, so I'm going to use this wonderful little device from my chill kit, which comes for free with the Thermomix this month. I don't know if, yep, can you see it? It actually looks like an ice cream scoop, but it is really used to scoop out pumpkin, things like that. So I'm just going to roll a couple and show you how I put them on. That's it. And I space them evenly with the vents having access to steam as well. So I'll keep rolling while Vicki J takes over. Are you ready, Vicki J?
I sure am. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much, Vicki. Okay, so my name's Vicki Jones, and I've been a Thermomix consultant for 2 years next month. But I've owned a Thermomix since 2014. So I love to cook with my Thermomix, and that's what made me decide to become a consultant. So the dishes that I'm cooking today for you are the salmon with ginger sauce and spiced cashews. Now I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm not actually going to cook some salmon today. Kim's cooking salmon, so I decided I would do some chicken. So I've got some chicken tenderloins, and I'm just going to swap that out for the salmon. So let's get underway. Okay, I'll just pop my Varoma over there. I'm going to hit start cooking. Now my first step is, just make sure my bowl's empty, is to pop in a chilli. Now I've taken the seeds out of that chilli. I keep my chilies in the freezer. So this chili's frozen. My next step is some ginger. So 3 centimetres of ginger. Now I don't know if you know this, but the fastest way to peel ginger is to actually use a small spoon, and you just scrape it along the ginger, and it's the fastest way to peel them. So I've got some ginger in here, so about 3 centimetres. I tend to be a little bit more than what the recipe says. And then 1 garlic clove. Now, unlike you, Vicki, I've actually got 4 garlic cloves because they're pretty tiny, aren't they? Okay, I didn't have a shallot, and I didn't want to go to the shops. I'm trying not to go to the shops, so I'm using an onion. So about half an onion. And then I've got some coriander out of the garden. So leaves, stem, everything, just throw it all in. Okay, pop the lid on. I don't have a measuring cup. Oh, yes, it's, oh, sorry. Okay, 5 seconds on speed 7. We're just going to chop all of that up. Absolute best way to chop garlic, ginger and chilli is using a Thermomix. Look at that. 5 seconds. So I'm just scraping down the sides. So what I'm doing is I'm making the ginger sauce first of all. I should have mentioned that, I suppose. Okay. And our next step is to add a tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of honey, a tablespoon of soy sauce, and I've got all of those ingredients that I've already weighed and measured into here. So I'm just going to tip the whole lot in, making sure I get all that honey that's stuck on the bottom. And our next step is to pop the lid back on. Oops. Went too far, go back one. And I'm just going to mix that. 10 seconds on speed 2, just to give it a little stir up. Just a little bit of that soy. Okay, there's my sauce, and I'm just going to pop that into one of these bowls, and we're going to pop it aside. Now, one of the reasons I love this dish is because you don't have to wash the bowl in between. And they're always my favourites, the ones where you don't have to wash the bowl. Okay, so without cleaning the bowl, pop it back on. Now I've got a tablespoon of olive oil that I need to add. And a quarter of a teaspoon of Szechuan peppercorns. Sometimes it's not always easy to get those in Woolies. I usually go to the Asian grocer and I get them from there. So I've got a quarter of a teaspoon of Szechuan pepper and half a teaspoon of Chinese five spice. So all that's going in now. And we're just going to make the spiced cashews component of the dish. And the next step is to throw in 60 grams of cashew nuts. So tear it back to 0. A little bit over is all right. And a pinch of sea salt, which I actually already put in there with the cashew nuts. Pop that lid back on. Now I'm going to put this on Varoma, speed 1 for 4 minutes. So whilst that's going, I will get started on the next dish that I'm doing, which is lemon cupcakes with a citrus syrup. So we'll turn this on, and I'm just going to move this slightly over. Okay, and we're going to get started on this dish. Okay, so the first step with this one is to pop our silicone moulds into the tray. So I've got 2 of these. So one set is going on there like that. And the other set just goes in the bottom of my Varoma tray and it just sits like that. So those go together and we'll just pop them to one side. So now we want to make sure I always check, because once I was transported my machine to somebody else's house and I didn't check it and I destroyed my MC because it was already inside there when I'd started to do the Parmesan cheese. So I always check. Okay, so first step is 60 grams of white sugar. Now this is these are lovely little steamed puddings, and you make the sauce afterwards. But there's a number of different things that you could do. You could make sticky date puddings. They go just as well in here. And when I do sticky dates, I always do them in individual sizes anyway. Okay, so we've got 60 grams of white sugar and 1 lemon. So I've taken all the pith off. Sugar. It's not a very sweet cake. It doesn't have a lot of sugar in this. Okay, and our next step is to pop the lid on. I'm just going to 10 seconds on speed 9. So that's just going to blitz all that lemon. You probably can't hear me when I talk when the machine goes. So that's just blitzing all that lemon rind and the sugar up together. And I'll just give you a quick, and that's what that looks like. Now we're going to, I'm going to scrape it down because the sugar has gone up around the edges. So it's best to give it a quick scrape down. Now I'm going to pop some, oops, I went too fast, didn't I, again? 130 grams of butter. Just got my butter over here. It's nice and soft. I did this morning so that it would mix nicely. Okay, now pop the lid on. And this is a quick 8 seconds on speed 5. Just mixing that butter up with the sugar and the lemon. Okay.
And I'll just interrupt. I've just checked the chicken and given it a stir as the recipe's told me to do, and it's back on now for another 5 minutes. Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, so in here I've got 2 eggs and 1 egg yolk. And the dog was the lucky recipient of the spare egg white. I didn't know what to do with just one. Okay, now 170 grams of plain flour. 180 grams of coconut milk. Now, I did go to the shops a couple of days ago and I tried to get coconut milk in the can and I couldn't. So I just bought a coconut milk in a UHT container like you do with the almond milk. And this seems to work just fine. 180 of our coconut milk. And now we're just going to mix that into a batter. So speed 5 for 8 seconds. Okay, we've got 2 going at once here. Okay, so the next step is just to scrape down the side of the bowl. You can see there's a little bit on the lid, but not much. Just scrape that down. And then it's sort of come up a bit on the side. So we're just going to scrape it down and give it another mix before we're ready to pop into our cupcake pan. And I can see that my cashews have finished as well. So what I'll be doing is taking those out. Okay, so we scrape down the sides. We're going to pop this on again, just to mix that last little bit. 4 seconds, speed 5. And our cashews are all finished over here. So I wish you could, it's a shame you can't smell this because they smell amazing. So what we're going to do is just pop the cashews into a bowl. And place to one side. Okay. We'll come back to that one. Okay, and this is our mixture. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my lid without the without the MC in it, and just pop it over the top. So it just sits over the top of the cupcake pan. And I'm just going to scoop all that into here. Now, after I've done this, I'm going to fill up the molds. So do you want to see how you're going, Vicki or Kim?
I'm ready to start making my sauce. Do you want me to do that while you fill up that?
Yeah, and then we can come back and I'll show you what they look like.
All right, no worries.
I've got about a minute to go on mine and I'll check it again. So,
all right, okay. Well, I've rolled all my meatballs ready to go on the Varoma. So I'll just pop that aside. Next step is to make the tomato sauce, which will cook underneath while the meatballs are cooked onto the top. So there's 1 garlic clove, and of course I've got 2. No one will want to come near me tomorrow, will they? It says 50 to 80 grams of onions quartered. I've chopped them all already. I find on average an onion's about 120 grams, which I've only learnt since using the Thermomix. I had no idea how much onions weighed before. So there you go, I've got that in. That's half an onion. and 20 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Or would you like to cook with? Instead, where's my measuring? Speed fry for 5 seconds. That should chop all that up perfectly. As Vicki said, it's the only way to chop these sort of foods. If you wanted something spicy, you could add half a chili into it. It's all optional when you're cooking. There you go, 5 seconds and my onions chopped and my garlic's perfect. So I'll just scrape down the sides again. And then I'm going to cook that for 3 minutes, so you can take over, Kim.
Okay, so I'll just show you, I'll bring this a bit closer and put my salmon is cooked perfectly. So I'm just going to take that out and get a tea towel, hang on. Just so I can put it into the containers. And I leave my skin on, my salmon, so that when I take it out, the skin actually stays on my tray. And that'll be used for our lunches this week. Now, all my little googie eggs are also cooked in there, so I'm just going to pop them into another container and cover them with some water so that they stop cooking. And then the chicken is perfectly cooked, and I'm just going to get that out. Drain the liquid a little bit. Just pop that into there so it cools. And then I'm going to pop that back into there. And with the basket, I'm just going to use the basket to strain the sauce. So I've got 800 grams of liquid chicken stock there. My chicken, which I'm going to let cool a little bit, and then I'll show you how to shred it. And my salmon that I'll let cool down and put the lid on, and then my eggs will be cold enough to peel them. So that's what I've got here. And I just thought I'd share. Today I made a salad, and that's all ready to go. That's in our new Meals in a Flash gift with purchase. And I've actually made the cream cheese dressing that goes with the salad. So we're all set all week now. Back to you, Vic.
Well, my
Okay. Oh, which one? I'm ready to put mine on. So can I'll just show them, and then you can take over.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I don't know if you've seen this little gadget. It's called a cupcake pen. As you saw, I just filled it up using the lid. So I popped all my mixture in there, and now I've filled up the Varoma dish, and I've also got another 6 over here for the Varoma tray. So I've put them aside. Now it says the next step is to clean and dry the mixing bowl. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. What we're doing is we're steaming just water in the bottom and steaming the cakes. So I'm not going to wash the bowl. I confess I've got more than one, but I still try not to have to wash the bowls if I don't have to. So I'll just pop back over here because I popped it over there. And I'm just going to pop it back on. And here's my water. So I'm going to tare it. I'm going to pop 1,000 grams of water. Close enough. Put the lid on. And what I'll do is after I've steamed it, then I'll pop some water in and throw it onto pre-rinse, and it'll clean a lot of that off as well. So on with the Varoma, on with the lid. Now I've got 22 minutes to go on this, so I'll hand back to you, Vicki, and then I'll be ready to go with the ginger and start my chicken.
No worries. Thanks, Vicki. Little point I was going to add in. I'm going to be cooking some pasta in my thermo server, and I've just filled it up with boiling water. So that's going to heat my thermo server. I put the kettle back on, then I'll step onto here. So when I can fill that up with water again and my pasta, and it will cook for the same amount of time it says on a pack. You don't actually have to put it on the stove. It's a very good tip. Also, another thing to do is you could have added some veggie stock to the meatball mix, but I didn't do that, but I'll add it to this mix. So my next step says, that little stir around there, to add 600 grams of tinned tomatoes, which I'll do. As always, I'm a little bit over. Some fine salt. And I'm pretty sure next step's pepper. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of my own veggie stock, which is in the basic cookbook as well. If you haven't made all the other stocks, the veggie stock's a good one to use in place of the chicken stock or the beef stock. It adds just so much more flavour. And I have never ever cooked my own stock before owning a Thermomix, and I can say it makes a big difference to the taste and flavour of food. Wouldn't you agree, ladies? Yes, nodding, good. I think Vicki J spotlighted, but that's all right. I don't mind. I don't like seeing myself on screen. So next I have to put the Varoma up, which is there. I'll press next. Now that's going to cook on speed 1 for 20 minutes. One thing I should have mentioned earlier is the basic cookbook. It is your Bible for all information. And I have to say I'm quite guilty that I didn't use it earlier. It has all the information you need about steaming and using the Varoma. If you go into the back of the book, it'll talk about steaming vegetables, steaming fruit, steaming fish and seafood, and steaming meat. And it's a good go-to for lots of other information. So it's not just the recipes, and we know the recipes are loaded onto our Thermomix, but in here there's lots of instructions at the beginning about what you can have in your pantry, how to help you with different functions. So I highly recommend having a good look at your basic cookbook. I'm just going to put my pasta into my thermo server. And in 20 minutes, I should have it all done. How easy is that? Now I can go sit down and relax.
Sounds wonderful. All right, I will finish. I will go on to the next step with my chicken. So we've transferred the cashews. We've done the cashews. My favourite words appear on the screen without cleaning the bowl. Now I'm going to pop 500 grams of water into the bowl. Close enough. Okay, and now I'm going to pop my Varoma into position. And as I said, I'm using chicken. So I've got chicken tenderloin, so I'm just going to pop the chicken tenderloin in. between this and my Varoma tray. Now, it's really important when you're using your Varoma tray and your dish that you make sure that you leave holes for the steam to get through. So I'm not going to completely cover these. You'll see what I mean when I...
Good tip, Vicki, because if you don't, it won't cook properly.
That's right. So I'm just going to pop probably 4 of them into the bottom of my Varoma dish. And then pop the tray on top. Going to go to next. And put the rest of them up here. And now I'm going to use some of that ginger liquid that we made before. And we're just going to pop a little bit of that over the top of the salmon. Salmon. Chicken. It should be salmon. Let's put that one, but that's all right. It'll just soak through onto the one below.
That's a great marinade too, that sauce for
Oh,
any, even on the barbecue.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. And you know what? I love these meals using the Varoma where you're using the whole of your Thermomix. So I don't know if anybody saw, but last night I made a roast pork and I steamed it in the top of the Varoma to start with, and then had vegetables in the steaming basket, more vegetables around the around the pork, and then in after an hour I put it into the oven to crisp up, and for the vegetables to crisp up as well. And I made a gravy in the jug with all those beautiful juices that had dropped through while it was cooking, and steamed some beans as well. So it was truly an all-in-one.
I saw that.
Okay, and now, sorry?
I saw all those pictures. It looked great.
Oh, it was so tasty. Okay, so now we've got our veg. Now, I've got a whole lot of other vegetables other than the ones that we've suggested because I had them anyway. So they're saying to put our broccolini around the salmon in, and if you scroll up, it says the Varoma, so it's just going around. Oh, okay. So I've got some snow peas, I've got some asparagus, some beans, and I've even got some beautiful broad beans that my neighbour grew. So all of those will go in there. Now, I know that it looks a bit full. I'll show you. So that's all in there, but you just make sure that there's a little gap so you can still see that there's some holes. And because it's sort of all loosely stacked, this will still steam. So first step is put the lid on. I'm going to pop the Varoma on there, my chicken that's on the top tray, and my lid, sorry guys, on top. Okay, so now I'm going to cook for 6 minutes on speed 1. Who's next? Gimme.
Vicki, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to shred your chicken. So if you didn't want to use thigh fillet, you'd be able to use breast fillet as well. And this goes for even if you're doing pulled beef or pulled pork. You can cut your pork up and pop it in the Thermomix. And we're just going to pop it in like so. And I'm going to just do that 4 seconds. On speed 4 or 5, it doesn't matter, on reverse.
Reverse is important so it doesn't, pulverize. Isn't that right, Kim?
Yeah, so it doesn't chop it. And I'll just do that another 2 seconds, I think, for that. And it's better to probably do a small amount of seconds and check it, and then if you need to do it more. But you can see that's now nice and chopped. So you could add mayonnaise to the bowl as well while you're doing that. And then you'd have mayonnaise into your chicken and it'd be ready for sandwiches. So I'm just going to empty this out. Go back to you, Vicki B.
I'm still cooking along here. I've got 12 minutes to go. So I think, is Vicki J ready? Unless you want me to talk a bit more about steaming and using your Varoma.
I've got 12 minutes to go on my cupcakes and 4 minutes to go on this stage of the steaming. Whilst I will finish what I was saying about the roast pork that I was telling you about, but one of my favourite dishes is a whole roast chicken. So you can make a spice rub and then make some stuffing and pop that inside the chicken. Anything that's left over, I leave in the jug. Steam the chicken for an hour, same as the pork, and then put it into the oven and let it crisp up. So it's a beautiful all-in-one meal. I've got a blowfly in my house. It's really upsetting me. Anybody that knows me would know that this is really upsetting to have one come in here now. So anyway, so yes, but as you can see, there's a whole range of meals that you can do using the Varoma, and some of my favourites are that Indian vegetable curry. Change out the vegetables. That's a fabulous all-in-one. Sticky sesame chicken. That's a great way to use your Varoma as well. You can do the Skinny Mixes mac and cheese. That's another favourite. Lots and lots of vegetables that you can hide from the kids. The chicken and red pesto salad, and even silverside. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can use your Varoma. And if any of my customers are online and you're not sure, give me a call and we can do a one-on-one with some Varoma cooking, or even invite a couple of friends and you can look at getting the Kobold vacuum cleaner, which is the host reward for a limited time. I'll hand you back over, Vicki.
Okay, well, I've still got a good 10 minutes to go.
All right. I might start the cook along.
Oh, okay, you can start the cook along. I was only going to talk more, but that's all good.
Well, for all of you who are doing the cook along, we'll start doing the cook along. So just make sure I just put myself back. So are there a few of you doing it?
I'm doing it.
Okay, and yes, Amber. I know Juliana's doing it. Patty's doing it. All right, well, we'll get started because this is a really, really quick and easy meal. And it's in our meals in a flash book, which they're all really quick meals that are in under 40 minutes. So there's lots of different things. With the stock that I have left over from just making that, I'm going to do the Hug in a Mug soup. So if you really like a nice chicken soup, the Hug in a Mug soup in Meals in a Flash, which you can get off Cookie Do as well, is really, really yummy. So I'm going to go to my week. And if anybody is cooking along and you get stuck, because I can't see everyone, please take yourself off mute to ask questions, and Vicki, Ben, or I will answer them for you. So we're going to cook the chili lime prawns, and I'm lucky that I've got lots of Thermomix bowls because I've dirtied them all today. And we're going to start cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some fresh, which mine's frozen like Vicky's, chilies trimmed and cut into halves into the bowl. Next, we're going to add 1 to 2 limes juiced. So I did one, mine was actually quite a big lime. So we're just going to pop that into there. And then we've got 40 grams of fish sauce. So remember to tear your scales. And 60 grams of peanut oil. So this is making like a dressing. Okay, 2 sprigs of fresh basil, leaves only. And put the lid on. And we're going to do that for 20 seconds on speed 4. So is everybody right?
Everyone's good so far, I think.
Okay.
Patty can't join us right now, but she's going to do it later when off the recording.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Patty. Thanks, Ben.
Kimmy, I might just throw over and show you my next one if that's okay. Are you ready to go or?
Yeah, the next thing that we're going to do is transfer it into a thermal server. So I'm just using thermoserver.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I'll just very quickly show you the last part of the vegetables. So I've got 150 grams of bok choy, and I'm just going to place that around the top of the Varoma. So what I might do is put the thicker pieces in the bottom and the leafy stuff on top. And then I'm going to cook this for another 5 minutes. So I'm going to go off mute and I'll hand you back over, Kimmy, because this dish will be finished shortly.
Thank you. Okay, so just pop your sauce, which is going to dress your noodles and everything, into your thermoserver. Okay, now it wants 1,000 grams of hot water. So I'll just get that. And I like this one too because you don't actually have to clean the bowl. Next. Okay, so we're going to put our Varoma into position. Our Varoma dish. And we're going to place 2 bunches of green asparagus trimmed and cut into pieces. I'm just going to make sure that there's a steam hole in the middle so that the steam comes through and cooks all of that nicely. Okay, insert the Varoma tray. And we're going to weigh our prawns in. Now I've left my prawns in the fridge. And again, leaving a hole in the middle. Putting the Varoma lid back on again. And that's going to cook now for 10 minutes on speed 4 on Varoma temperature. I've got a message. Oh, hang on. We've got someone in the waiting room. There you go.
So Vicki, how long have you got for yours?
I have got 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay. I've got 2 minutes, but with mine, it might need to go a little bit longer. So I'll check that shortly. When you do put something in the Varoma, like a piece of pork or a piece of chicken, I don't have a trivet. So what I do is pop a fork upside down underneath the piece of meat and that holds it up. You can also use an egg ring that also just holds it up. But Kimmy's got a fabulous little gadget. She's got a trivet, haven't you? Which, have you shown us that, Kimmy?
Yes, I've got it here.
There we go. So that's another one from the meat shop as well. Okay, so I'm going to just sneak a peek. Okay, my chicken I think is going to need to cook a little bit longer. And then I've still got 3 minutes on my steamed lemon pudding. While we're talking about things that you can do with your Varoma, one of the other things you can do is you can sterilise. So you can sterilise baby bottles, but what I like to do is when I make jam or chili sauce, I put my jars into the top of the Varoma and you can sterilise them by steaming. So that's just another way that I like to use the Varoma. I will say to you though that people sometimes say, especially when you do chicken, that the holes get dirty. So I find the best way to do that is just to clean it, is to just pop some dishwashing liquid and use the brush to brush over the top of the whole thing, front and back, and then you can wash it and it just comes off really easily.
Okay, I'm just going to, Kathy, if you're on, what we've done is we've done the sauce that we're just going to sit into a bowl. I'm using the thermo server. And then we've popped hot water into the bowl, our asparagus into the dish, and then we've put our prawns on the top in the Varoma tray. So I hope you can see that, catch up with us. You're right.
Yeah,
Kathy?
I'm on. I'll just wait. I'll just do it on my own. I'll just keep watching now. I'm behind, 2 behind.
That's all right. You can start doing, because that only takes 20 seconds to pop in.
Okay.
You can do that while that's cooking, because we were going to have a Q&A at the moment until the next person's dish is ready. So if anyone's got any questions. How are you going, Amber, with yours?
Yeah, how's this going?
Oh,
How's
good.
it all good? Yeah. I'm just showing Mel the app on your phone. How you can shop
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And type in, her husband does keto, and how you can type in keto and it brings up recipes and stuff.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's all good.
I'll just, when I'm at work and my husband will go, what do you want to do for dinner? Because I'm never home till 5 o'clock. I can just choose a recipe on Cookie Do and send it home to him and he can have it cooked by the time I get home. So I think that's really useful. I'm nearly ready, Kim, if Vicki.
Yes, yeah. Off you go, Vicki.
Mine's got 20 seconds to go. And I've cooked this recipe a few times and I know it'll be cooked perfectly. So I'll just wait for it to finish. My pasta looks almost perfectly done. I'm not going to strain the pasta. I don't know if you can see me, Ben. I can't spotlight today, so maybe spotlight me. Otherwise I'm...
Yeah, no, we can see you. You're good.
Good, okay. I can't see me, which is great. The pasta's almost done, but I'll strain that once I've put the sauce and the meatballs into my serving dish. All right, so next it says, serve meatballs hot with sauce. I'll just take that off there.
So you can see that the thermo servers come in very handy for lots of different things, even cooking your pasta while your Thermomix is busy. They look good, Vicki.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to pop that into my thermo server and then I'm going to put the cooked sauce, which was done underneath, at the same time on top of it, and then I'll get the pasta ready.
Sorry, Vicki Bennett, a question. So someone's asked, did you cook the actual pasta in the thermo server? So you put boiling water into the thermo server and pasta, is that correct?
Which is what I would do if I was cooking it on the stovetop. And if you have a look, it's, I don't know, you can't really see. It's ready. It's got itself ready while I was doing this other dish. All happened at once. That's a good tip.
Yeah, I was just going to say the noodles that the Soba noodles we're going to use for the chili lime prawns, we're actually cooking them in the bowl only for a couple of minutes after the rest of the dish is cooked.
Okay, I'm just giving this a quick clean. Assuming, as Vicki J said, a dash of washing up liquid and using my brush, and I'll rinse it off, and then I'm going to strain my pasta in there, and I've got dinner ready to go.
Just very quickly, I have put my chicken back on it for a little bit longer because it wasn't ready. And my cupcakes are ready. So I'll just quickly show you those, and then I'm going to remove them and make the sauce. So there are the cupcakes. They're already done. I'm just going to pop them over here and let them cool a little bit, and then move on to the syrup. But I'll hand back to you so you can finish yours. Vicki?
Almost done. I'm just going to put the sauce over my meatballs. And you could always make a sub like they do at Subway with these meatballs in the tomato sauce. If you're that way inclined, you can even make your own bread in your using your Thermomix. I think Vicki J's made some excellent subs. I've seen them before. So there you go. Can you all see that? That's the meatballs in the sauce and the pasta ready to go.
That looks fantastic.
Looks great. Smells wonderful. And
Looks good, Vicki.
ready for the family when they decide they're hungry. That's another good thing about the thermal servers. You can have it all ready to go. And if your family comes in dribs and drabs, especially if you've got teenagers or your husband's working late, they can just serve up their meal and it's nice and hot.
Beautiful. All right, I'm going to just finish mine if that's okay. The syrup is all we need to do now for the cupcake. So it says to clean and dry the bowl. I've just used a different bowl. And now I'm going to pop in 170 grams of white sugar. Just put that one over a little bit. Now, I did try these cupcakes on their own, and it's just not as nice without the syrup. So I definitely recommend making a syrup to go with it. You want 15 grams of water. And 60 grams of lemon juice. Thanks to my neighbour's lemon tree next door, I'm lucky enough to be able to use that. Okay, pop the lid on. Double click. Yeah. Okay, 3 minutes, 90 speed 2.
Sorry, Vicki, I forgot to say, did I tell everyone I strained it using my thermal server? So you can always use it for that. There's a lot of different tricks with your thermal server and your Varoma. Are you all done there, Vicki? It looks great.
Yeah, so my chicken is now finished as well. So it smells amazing. I wish you could smell this. Now, so there's all my veg. So what I'm going to do to serve this is to grab my oval thermo server. I'm going to just pop all my vegetables, all the green veg in the bottom of the tray, and I'm just going to serve these chicken fillets over the top of all of these green vegetables that I've got on the bottom here. Now, as I said, you can use whatever vegetables you like. I like to make the meal go a little bit further by using all the different ones that I showed you. Just put that there. And we've got our beans and our asparagus, snow peas, broad beans, zucchinis.
Okay, for anybody who's cooking along with me, just check to see if your prawns and your asparagus is ready. Just give it a stir and then we'll come back in a second.
Okay. So with this one, for now, so that's the finished product, and I will drizzle it with some more of the sauce and finish it off with the cashews at the table. So that way people can choose how much of the chili sauce and the cashews that they have. So there we have it. That's our ginger dish. Beautiful. All in one. I can't hear you, Kim.
Oh, that looks good, Vicki. Now, I still need to cook my prawns a little bit more. They're not quite cooked enough, so I'm just going to cook them for another 5 minutes. On Varoma, speed 4, and having the blade speed up at speed 4 pushes all the steam through the Varoma. So sometimes if you're cooking and you find that your meat is still not cooked, just turn it up another half or 1 notch to get it up so that the steam actually rises, especially if you've got a lot of food in your dish, your Varoma dish. Okay, has anybody got any questions? Any questions, Ben?
There's been nothing, nothing. I've responded to a couple of people. I guess the one question I have is, can you, with the Vicki J, with the cupcakes, can you use real cupcake wrapper, like normal cupcake wrappers in that?
I would only use silicone ones. You could probably use something like a
Ben, you
little
can.
ramekin. Yeah, those. I've got those ones as well, Kimmy.
Yeah, you can get those. I think they're about $2 at Kmart, and you get 12 in a pack.
Yeah, I use
Okay,
those ones
thank
as
you.
well.
Okay.
Good.
And this is that's the little cupcakes. Now they're just lovely. They're steamed beautifully. And then you just serve them with the drizzle of this delicious citrus syrup. So I might just plate up a couple of those.
Don't forget the cream, Vicki.
Sorry?
Don't forget the cream.
I know, I should have whipped some cream because that would have looked really nice. So we'll just pop 3 of them on here. And you can garnish it with a bit of coconut as well. And there we have those little lime cupcakes as well. So
delicious.
I bet everyone feels like one of those now.
I've plated mine up ready. Anyone would like to see? Fairly simple meal.
I'm just going to check.
Delicious.
Yeah. Still another. Still another couple of minutes for mine.
Elle's got a question.
Okay, I can't see the chat box. Hang on. Question, I worry about chicken in the Varoma when I'm cooking something in the bowl. Doesn't all the juices? Elle, that's where you can use the stainless steel tray, or you can get some baking paper, and I'll just get my baking paper. Hang on 1 second.
Elle, do you mean you're worried about cooking vegetables underneath and the chicken juices dropping through? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm worried about when you're cooking anything chicken in the Varoma, then all the juices and the bits are obviously going down towards the bowl.
Yeah.
And if I'm cooking rice or something at the same time, I'm worried about all the juices going through there. Isn't that dangerous? Like food poisoning wise?
I think that because it's all steaming and it's really hot, it's still cooking that. So by the time you've got up the top, all that stuff up the top that's dripping through, it's hitting that hot stuff that's in the bottom of the jug. So I've cooked lots and lots of times with layered meals, and the chicken does drip down through the vegetables. But what was it I did the other day? There was a rice dish that I did, and the same thing. It was the peanut chicken with the coconut rice.
Yeah.
And that does happen, but I think because of the heat that's happening in the bowl, it cooks it. That's I don't know how right I am.
Juices wouldn't fall down unless they're cooking, so I'd have to say the heat produced by the Thermomix would alleviate any of those concerns. But I don't know if anyone has vegan or vegetarians in their family. You can steam tofu at the top as well. Just a little
If you were worried about it, get a piece of baking paper like this, just like that, crunch it up like so, wet it under your tap. And then lay it in your Varoma dish and just make sure that you leave the steam holes open. I haven't got a spare Varoma dish to show you because they're both being used, but you would just make sure when you put it in your dish, leave the steam so that steam's coming through, but your chicken's in there, and you may have to cook it longer because your chicken will be on top of each other a little bit. So you could just stir it halfway through so that you're getting the steam going right around the bowl.
Bit like a fish parcel, Kim.
Like a fish parcel. But I cook layered cooking all the time. If I'm doing salmon, I always put it on my tray or wrap it in wet baking paper and steam it that way, because the fish juices I don't really like. But the chicken, because it's usually going with your stir fry and you're making a sauce, it will only flavor the sauce that you've got underneath your rice. So I don't mind that. And you'd put your other vegetables around it anyway. It'll all cook through. Hope that answers your question, Alyssa.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so my prawns now are cooked. So we'll go on to our recipe. Okay, so we're going to remove the Varoma and stir the vegetables and prawns, which I've done. Now we're going to add the Soba Noodles, which I didn't take them out of the packet, so that I'll just spotlight myself so I can see you. So they're the Soba Noodles. They just come in a packet and you find them in the Asian part of your grocers supermarket. Coles, Woolies have them. And we're going to add the Soba Noodles to the bowl. And it's a whole packet. So there's 3 little containers. And then we're going to place the Varoma back up. So I'm just pushing those down a little bit. And that's going to go for another 2 minutes. So that's going to cook those Soba Noodles, and it's gone into reverse automatically. And then we're just going to drain them and actually put our vegetables and our prawns in our thermoserver or our bowl. Drain our Soba Noodles through the Varoma dish like Vicki did with her macaroni, and mix it all together and then serve it. Did you plate up, Vicki?
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't. I've left mine in the dish.
I plated mine up and I've just put some parmesan on the top, but my husband's going to eat that in a second. He's happy.
Very good.
Are there any other tips we should give at the moment that we discussed and we've forgotten?
Well, there is one. You can use your Varoma to wash your vegetables. So you can use it like a salad, not a spinner, obviously, because it's not going to spin, but you can use it to rinse all of your salad vegetables and then just give it a good shake with that.
Good. Also, you don't have to have a recipe that says to use the Varoma. You can turn the heat up a little bit and steam some vegetables on the top when you're cooking other meals. My daughter does that a lot.
That's what I do. I actually put potatoes cut into cubes into the steaming basket. And then in the Varoma dish, I just put all my veggies. And like Vicki, we love veggies, so I pile that up. And then I will just, Ben's finished. Hang on, there you go, Ben, back again. And then they steam. It usually takes around 20 minutes. Check your potatoes are cooked and then put your veggies aside. Empty the water out of the bowl, add your potatoes into the bowl, and about 20 seconds on speed 4 with a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon or 2 of milk, and you've got perfect mashed potatoes.
Yum.
Okay, I'm going to transfer the asparagus and the prawns into the bowl. And I have to say, since doing steaming with prawns and fish and salmon, it's a great, like the prawns and things taste beautiful. How are you going, Amber and Juliana? How are you going, Kathy?
Okay, I'm just still cooking the noodles, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'm
Okay.
okay. Whoop, there you go. Ours is finished. All I've just put it in my server because Mel doesn't like prawns, but I didn't know that until she got here.
Okay. Can we
So that's dinner.
Kim, Ben's lost spotlighting. He can't do it at the minute.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone needs to see me at the moment. I'm not doing anything.
Hang on, I'm just going to try. There you go, Amber. You can show us now. I'll just spotlight
Oh.
you. There you
Oh
go.
gosh, I don't know if I want to be spotlighted. Oh, I don't know where the camera is. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Okay, I've just put all mine in just into a serving tray. Yep. So ready for dinner later. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Quick, simple, easy. Love it.
Okay, now I'm just going to strain my noodles. So just bear with me for a second.
Kimmy, I did plate up the dessert. I put a little bit of cream on the top, so that's the end result.
Okay. If anyone would like to come around and get some prawns and help me do the dishes, that'd be really good.
Come on, Kimmy, you've hardly got any dishes of Varoma and the jug. There's not
That's
much
just what
to wash up.
I've used 2 Varomas, 3 bowls.
You've been busy, Kim.
I have been busy. Now I got prawns. Now I'm just going to get a plate.
I think Amber and I are still spotlighted unless it looks different to anyone else.
Okay.
No, it seems to be whoever's, well, no, I can't see myself, but it seems,
There you go. Now
my
there's
video's gone.
There you go. Yep.
I'll be having this for a few days too, by the looks of it.
This goes to show a good cook up for 2 hours in the afternoon can prepare your whole week.
Mhm.
What's the time? 6. We started at 5, so an hour and a quarter. There you go. So put that down. So I can't wait to try that. Love prawns. Thank you, everybody. So we will send out an email with all the links to the recipes and some of the hints and tips that we've given today. And yeah, hope to see you again at another cooking class that we do or a cook along.
And if anyone has any suggestions of what they'd like us to do for a cook along or a cooking class, please let your consultant know and we'll look into.
Yeah, you can reply back to the email once I've sent it. And if you want to see something else, because these are fun for us too, especially when we're all in lockdown.
Exactly. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Vicki. Thanks, Ben, for manning the chat. Thanks, the other Vicki. Thanks, Patty. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, girls.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.